All right, so you've given us this pretty big stack of stuff on Go-Digit General Insurance,
Yeah.
and we've got press releases and financials, even an earnings call transcript.
Yeah. Looks like a fun deep dive.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to really get into the details.
Definitely.
So should we just jump right in?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, great. So let's start by looking at their performance in Q3 of 2025 and for the first 9 months of this fiscal year.
Okay.
In their press release, they highlighted some pretty impressive numbers. Talking about GWP growth, profit jumps, key ratios, all seem to be moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one thing that sort of jumped out at me was this new 1N accounting rule change.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how that impacts how we interpret their numbers,
hmm
especially when we're comparing them to like previous periods or even other companies.
Yeah, you're right to point that out. That is a significant change.
Yeah.
Because companies now need to recognize the premium income over the life of the policy
Okay.
instead of all upfront.
Right.
So that means we need to be a little bit careful
Okay.
when we're comparing GoDigit's performance now to periods before this rule was in place,
Right.
or to companies that are still using the old method.
Yeah. So almost like comparing apples to oranges in a way.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, how is GoDigit really performing then?
Well, what's really interesting is that even with this Oneer rule, GoDigit's growth is still really strong.
Okay.
And they helpfully provided the figures calculated both with and without 1N.
Oh, okay.
So if we look at Q3 GWP on a without 1N basis,
Hmm.
it actually shows even more impressive growth, like 12.8% compared to last year.
Wow. So that's
Yeah, pretty robust.
that's really strong. Yeah.
Yeah,
But strong growth doesn't always translate to profitability.
right.
What about their bottom line?
So their profit jump for Q3 is definitely eye-catching.
Okay.
176.5% increase to
Wow.
119 crore.
Okay.
But what's really remarkable, I think, is that this impressive profit isn't coming from any like one-off gains or anything unusual.
Mm.
So they're not relying on like reserve releases
Right.
or capital gains to boost their numbers.
Mm.
It really seems to be a result of just solid core insurance profitability.
Okay.
They're demonstrating a strong ability to price their products appropriately and manage their risks effectively.
So they're not relying on sort of financial trickery
Right, exactly.
to make themselves look good. They're really building it on something solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Strong foundation.
That's a good sign. Okay, so what about their assets under management? Have you noticed any trends there?
So their AUM has actually grown quite a bit. It reached 18,939 crore as of December 31st, 2024,
Okay.
which is a 20.1% increase from earlier in the year.
Wow, so that's pretty significant.
Yeah, and I think that growth is especially noteworthy given that they've been strategically shifting towards a lower commission business.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Because wouldn't you expect lower commission to lead to slower AUM growth?
Yeah, that's a good point. But you have to keep in mind that lower commission business often comes with longer policy durations. So it means that there's this more consistent and predictable stream of income that's coming in
Okay.
over time,
Mhm.
which actually contributes to more stable and sustainable growth in the AUM.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about the size of the premium. It's about the longevity of the relationship with the customer.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so it seems like they're playing the long game here, really trying to build a sustainable business model.
Yeah, and it seems to be working well for them,
Yeah.
They're finding a good balance between growth and profitability.
Yeah, well, let's zoom in on some of their specific strategies, particularly in motor insurance.
Okay.
Um, it seems like they're making some pretty bold moves there, deliberately shifting their focus from third-party insurance to own damage, which seems to go against the industry trend. So I'm curious what's driving that decision for them.
Well, the TP pricing environment has been really challenging. A lot of companies are having a hard time making a profit in that space. So it seems that GoDigit is choosing to focus on areas where they see a clearer path to profitable growth.
Okay.
So it suggests to me that they have a strong understanding of the market dynamics,
Yeah.
and they're willing to adapt to those changing conditions.
So they're really being selective about where they want to compete
Mhm.
and prioritizing profitability over market share.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's a calculated risk, but it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, it does.
But are they completely abandoning third-party insurance?
Not entirely. They're managing their TP portfolio very carefully,
Okay.
making adjustments to their geographic and vehicle mix to try to maximize profitability.
Okay.
So they're focusing on specific regions or types of vehicles
Mm-hmm.
where they have a better understanding of the risk
Okay.
and where they can achieve more favorable loss ratios.
So it's about being data-driven and making informed decisions, not just sort of guessing.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Okay. And it seems like that data-driven approach extends to their health insurance strategy as well.
Mm.
They're being really cautious about retail health, but they're seeing really great success in the group health segment.
Mm-hmm.
So what's their secret sauce there?
Well, they're choosing to focus on non-employer employee group health business,
Okay.
which tends to be more stable and predictable,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not just sort of riding this wave of a favorable market segment.
Okay.
They're actually leveraging technology and data analytics to drive improvements in their loss ratios as well.
So technology and data seem to be really recurring themes in their success.
Definitely.
Can you elaborate on how they're using these tools to give themselves an edge?
So one example is that they've implemented this new fraud detection engine to identify and prevent fraudulent claims, which, as you know, can have a big impact on profitability.
Yeah, of course.
And they're also exploring opportunities for product customization and pricing discipline.
Oh, yeah.
So they're using data to tailor their offerings and their pricing to meet the specific needs and risk profiles of their customers.
So it's really all about using data to make smarter decisions and create a more personalized customer experience.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it sounds like they're really taking a very sophisticated approach, using technology not just to automate things,
Right.
but to really gain deeper insights into their business and their customers.
Yeah, it's not just about digitizing insurance. It's about making it smarter.
Right, right. And that's an important distinction.
It is.
So they're not just a digital insurer, but they're using it to get ahead.
Yeah, definitely to create a competitive advantage.
Okay. And that focus on technology and data is really evident in their API strategy as well. So what's their thinking there, and how does that fit into their overall growth plan?
Well, their continuous expansion of these API integrations really shows their commitment to digital innovation and partnerships.
Okay.
So by creating these digital bridges, they're able to connect with a wider range of businesses and platforms,
Okay.
which extends their reach and makes it easier for customers to access their services.
So they're not just building a company, they're building an ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, cool. So now let's talk about their customer service philosophy.
Right.
It seems like they're taking a pretty unique approach, using in-house TPAs for all their retail business. So what's the reasoning behind that?
Well, by handling these claims in-house, they have much greater control over the customer experience.
Okay.
So they can ensure consistency, quality, and responsiveness, which are all really important for building trust and loyalty with your customer.
So they're saying we're not going to outsource this really critical part of the journey.
Right, exactly.
We're going to keep it in-house.
Exactly. They're making a statement about their values and their commitment to customer satisfaction.
And it looks like it's paying off. They're getting really impressive customer satisfaction scores.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a major driver of growth in the long run.
Definitely.
Because happy customers tell other people.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're building a strong foundation for sustainable growth. All right, so all this growth and innovation requires a really solid financial foundation.
Right.
So let's talk about their investment strategy and how that supports their plans.
Okay.
So what can you tell me about their approach to managing their money?
So they seem to be taking a very prudent and balanced approach.
Okay.
They're prioritizing security and stability over, trying to chase big returns. So this conservative strategy has allowed them to maintain a very comfortable solvency position, which gives them the flexibility to invest in their growth initiatives. And, weather any potential market storms that might come up.
So they're playing it safe but smart.
Yeah, exactly.
But does that conservative approach limit their ability to take advantage of opportunities?
Well, they've indicated that they're actually willing to increase their equity allocation up to 10% based on market conditions. So that shows that they're not afraid to seize those opportunities. But they're doing so with a very careful eye on risk management.
So it's a balance.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground already just in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
Looking at GoDigit's financial performance, their strategic moves, their really innovative use of technology and data.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm starting to get a pretty clear picture of what's driving their success.
Me too.
But let's take a moment to just kind of digest all this.
Yeah. Always good to take a pause.
Yeah, just to reflect and make sure we're seeing the bigger picture.
Definitely. And in GoDigit's case, it's looking quite compelling.
Yeah, I agree. But as with any business, there are always challenges to think about and opportunities to consider. So when we come back, we'll dig into some of the headwinds they might face and the potential tailwinds that could propel them even further.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned.
You know, it's important to remember that GoDigit isn't operating in a vacuum.
Right.
Every company faces its own unique challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
And GoDigit's no exception.
So what are some of those headwinds that they might run into?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for any insurer in India is the regulatory landscape.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving.
Okay.
You know, new rules and guidelines are always popping up, and companies need to be really agile and adaptable to keep up.
It's like they're trying to hit a moving target.
Yeah, exactly.
And that seems especially true in the retail health insurance space.
Yeah.
Where they're being pretty cautious. So is that a wise move, or are they maybe missing out on some big growth opportunities there?
Well, I think their caution is warranted.
Okay.
You know, the regulations around retail health are still kind of up in the air.
Right.
It makes it hard to plan for the long term.
Okay.
So it makes sense for them to focus on areas where things are a bit more settled.
Right. Where there's more certainty.
Exactly.
So it's like a strategic pause.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a retreat.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Okay. But even in those more stable segments, they're facing tons of competition.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how are they standing out in such a crowded market?
Well, I think their digital-first approach is a key differentiator.
Yep.
You know, all those investments in technology allow them to operate more efficiently, offer better prices, and provide a really seamless experience for customers.
So it's really ingrained in how they do business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it's not just a tool, it's part of their DNA.
Yeah.
Okay, but technology is not enough.
Right.
They also need to be smart about their focus. So is this emphasis on specific customer segments like we talked about with the motor OD and employee group health?
Yeah.
Is that helping them kind of carve out their own space and avoid going head to head with everybody?
Absolutely. I think by concentrating on these specific segments, they're targeting areas where they see that potential for growth.
Okay.
And where their expertise and their technology can be most effective.
So it's about picking their battles.
Yeah, definitely. Choosing where to focus their energy.
Okay, so they're being selective.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears now.
Okay.
From challenges to opportunities.
Sounds good.
What are some of the things that could really give them a boost?
Well, the continued growth of the Indian economy is a big plus for the whole insurance industry.
Okay.
As more people have disposable income and enter the middle class, the demand for insurance is only going to go up. And GoDigit, with its digital platform, is really well positioned to take advantage of that.
So they're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
What other opportunities are you seeing?
Well, the increasing use of smartphones and the internet in India is a huge game changer for digital insurers.
Okay.
You know, more and more people are comfortable doing everything online, from researching to buying to managing their policies.
Right, and that plays right into GoDigit's strengths.
It does.
But it's not just about the technology.
Right.
Customer needs are changing too.
Yeah, they are.
So how is GoDigit adapting to that?
Well, they're definitely listening to their customers, and they're constantly innovating.
Okay.
For example, they're introducing new products, like microinsurance products that are designed for people with lower incomes.
Oh, okay. So they're really trying to reach a broader audience.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does all of this tell us about the big picture for the insurance industry in India?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that the industry is going through a massive digital transformation.
Okay.
And GoDigit is leading the way. But even the traditional companies are having to adapt.
Yeah.
They're investing heavily in technology to try to catch up.
So it's like a race to the finish line.
Yeah, in a way it is.
Okay, so taking a look into the future.
All right.
Where do you see GoDigit and the industry as a whole headed in the next few years?
Well, I think we'll see the lines between traditional and digital insurance continue to blur.
Okay.
You know, traditional companies are getting better at digital, and digital players like GoDigit are expanding their physical presence.
Right, so it's emerging of the two worlds.
Exactly.
Interesting. Any other predictions?
I think we're going to see a data revolution in insurance.
Okay.
GoDigit's already using data to personalize products and pricing.
Right.
And that trend is only going to accelerate.
Okay.
We might see insurers using things like telematics, wearables, even social media data
Okay.
to create these hyper-personalized insurance experiences.
So insurance is becoming much more tailored to individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
But all that data raises some questions about privacy.
Right.
How will they address that?
Well, I think as they gather more data, they need to use it responsibly and be transparent with customers.
Okay.
Consumers need to understand how their data is being used.
Right, and have control over it.
Exactly.
So it's finding the right balance.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's just recap what we've learned about GoDigit and the overall insurance landscape.
Sounds good.
We've looked at their performance,
Yeah.
their strategy.
Their use of technology and data.
Right. They're clearly a company that's on the move.
Definitely.
And their story offers some really great lessons for anyone who's interested in the future of insurance.
It does.
But there's still more to uncover.
Yeah, definitely.
So when we come back, we'll try to synthesize all these insights and leave our listeners with some things to think about.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've spent this whole episode breaking down GoDigit's performance.
Yeah.
Their strategies, all the different factors shaping the insurance landscape in India.
Definitely. It's been really interesting.
It has. So now I think it's time to step back and try to pull out the key takeaways.
Okay, sounds good.
Really crystallize the big picture.
Yeah.
One thing that really struck me was how well GoDigit's been doing, even with all the challenges in the pricing environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in motor insurance.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, what does that tell us about their ability to kind of roll with the punches?
That's a good question.
Adapt to future changes, regulatory stuff, all that.
Right. I mean, they've shown that they can be really agile
Yeah.
and make tough decisions when they need to.
Like that move away from TP to OD.
Yeah.
It's not what everyone else is doing. But
right. But it seems to be working for them.
It is. It seems like they're really using data to guide their decisions.
Absolutely.
And kind of find those profitable niches.
Exactly. They're not afraid to adjust their strategies.
And that's going to be super important in such a fast-changing industry.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not just about reacting to change.
Right.
It's about being ahead of it.
Exactly. Being proactive.
And that takes some serious foresight.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've also talked a lot about technology and customer service.
Yeah.
So how do you see those things playing a role in their future growth?
Well, their digital approach really seems to connect with Indian consumers.
Okay.
Especially the younger generation. It's like they're speaking the same language. That instant gratification, intuitive interaction.
And that focus on customer experience is huge.
Oh, absolutely. It builds loyalty.
It does.
It sets them apart.
So it's not just about selling insurance, it's about...
Yeah, it's about building those relationships.
It is.
And that trust.
So if we had to boil down GoDigit's recipe for success, what would you say those key ingredients are?
I think it's agility, innovation, and that focus on the customer.
Those are powerful ingredients.
Yeah, they are. And it makes you wonder, what can other businesses learn from them?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, not just in insurance. Across industries.
One thing's for sure, technology isn't optional anymore.
No, it's essential.
You have to embrace it.
And use it strategically.
Not just to automate.
Yeah, to transfer in.
Really get ahead.
And knowing your customer is more important than ever.
Oh, absolutely.
GoDigit gets that.
They do. They anticipate what their customers want.
And they make them feel valued.
Exactly.
Understood.
Yeah, like they matter.
And then there's agility.
Right, that ability to adapt.
To be flexible.
To not be afraid to change.
The companies that can do that are the ones that are going to succeed.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So GoDigit's story is a great example.
Definitely inspiring.
Of how to put all these principles into action.
And it makes you think about the future.
It does.
As the lines between traditional and digital insurance keep blurring.
Yeah.
What role are companies like GoDigit going to play?
Right. Are they going to shake things up?
Are they going to partner with the old guard?
So many possibilities.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see.
It is. Well, that wraps up our deep dives into GoDigit General Insurance.
Yeah, great deep dive.
We've uncovered their secrets to success.
We've seen the challenges they face.
And tried to predict what the future holds.
And hopefully spark some curiosity about the future of insurance.
I hope so. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
My pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep diving deep.
See you next time.